Hello, how y'all doing? Dr. Bilan Joseph, the education enthusiast. If you're new to my channel, then welcome. If you are a parent of school-age children, if you are a community member who cares about education, if you are a school administrator or someone working in the school system, and you're looking for strategies to help with behavior issues, classroom management, professional development for teachers, welcome. Today's video is about education, but also about mental health. The two tend to go hand in hand, which I am noticing. I have always noticed during my time in the classroom. So for those of you who don't know, I am a licensed educator. I have taught for about 13 or 14 years in the public school system, private school system, and charter school system, a total 14 years. In all three of those sectors. I am also an associate professor for a university. I work in the School of Education for that university, and I teach aspiring teachers or teachers who are trying to become reading specialists. My specialty is reading and literacy. I earned my doctorate degree specializing in reading and literacy. And the reason that I chose reading and literacy was because as a high school English teacher, I was dismayed by the very alarming percentage of Black students, specifically Black male students within the school that I taught in, who were not reading at grade level. At my school, about 33% of Black male students were reading proficiently. To be proficient means that you can read at grade level. In each grade level, you should become more proficient. Your ability to read more advanced text should increase. So compared to about 70% of their white counterparts. I was an English teacher by trade, but I was not a reading teacher. Like most teachers are not. They're not trained to teach, explicitly teach reading, especially to older students. The expectation is that when you roll into a high school classroom, you are able to read on grade level and able to access the text and textbooks that you will be exposed to in those classrooms. Unfortunately, that is not the case. But that's a video for another day. I do want to talk more about that and dive more into that. And I do have a few videos where I do dive into why I think this is. But today, teaching in those classrooms, I saw how a lot of students struggled with mental health and how it was very difficult for them to get support, considering in the schools that I taught in, there was not a budget for a mental health provider. So for every grade level, which could have had 300-400 students per grade level, there was maybe one social worker for all of those students. The school that I taught in, middle school in particular, for the 1,200 students that were there, there was 1.5 social workers. 1.5. How you have a half of a social worker? But that was the reality. So today, in 2024, I'm no longer a classroom teacher. I will high school classroom teacher. And I'll do a video about why I stepped away from the classroom and what I'm doing now. For those of you who are educators and who are curious. I'm here because my daughter was recently diagnosed with Functional Neurological Disorder, And this disorder is rare and it's tricky because the patient presents physically healthy, but they are experiencing debilitating symptoms or debilitating episodes from this disorder. Disorder can come out of nowhere. There's some type of traumatic event that triggers it, and recovery is different for every person. Some people never recover. Some people do. A lot of people do, which gives me hope when we're talking about my child. But essentially, the brain is not speaking to other parts of the body. There's a misfiring, if you will, neurologically. And so because the brain isn't communicating to other parts of the body, it might impede your ability to function like you normally would, hence the name Functional Neurological Disorder. There is a connection between stress and anxiety and mental health in this disorder, but this disorder is not caused by stress and anxiety. Stress and anxiety exacerbates these symptoms of FND. My daughter starts school in a week, and I do believe that the schools that we've had her at have caused so much stress for her that it has contributed to this disorder. And I wrestle with whether or not putting her in this school or keeping her in this school. Is a highly sought after program. Quality education, absolutely, but extremely rigorous and extremely stressful because the students who participate in this program are working to earn their high school diploma and their associate's degree within the 4 years that they are there. I guess I'm wondering, in the United States, in districts like mine, where the opportunity to receive a quality education based on your zip code is limited, and parents are looking for alternatives to provide the best education for their child, there are pros and cons, and there are some sacrifices that you have to be willing to make for that. I am starting to question, is it worth it? Is it worth my child's mental health to have her in one of the best schools in our city? Or do I let her just persevere and push through? Is it worth it? Is it worth it? So what do I mean? So we have my daughter on a medication that is designed to help with the chronic pain that she's been experiencing since being diagnosed with this disorder. We are gradually trying to pull her off the medication because it is causing chest pain. Her heart, she describes her heart aching. But as we are starting to taper her off of the medication, the symptoms that she was experiencing and had stopped experiencing, so specifically she lost her ability to walk without assistance. So assistance sometimes is a walker, sometimes it's a wheelchair. She lost her ability to lift her arms without being in pain. She couldn't walk. She couldn't move her fingers. She was experiencing non-epileptic seizures. She was experiencing head tremors and debilitating headaches. All of this happened in like a month. Completely healthy for 14 years, and then just like that, she fell in the bathroom, collapsed and hit her head, and then it triggered this disorder. We've been dealing with it over the summer. So she wasn't at school, but now she's going back to school next week. She doesn't want to be on the medication because she doesn't like how it makes her feel, but she is physically declining again. She wants to be in school next week though, versus staying home for the first 9 weeks, being on medical leave and being able to work virtually, because she doesn't want to miss out on the opportunity to make friends. Last year, her her academic experience was challenging, but her social experience was devastating to her. The friend group that she met in the first week of school as a freshman in high school, they fell apart and they started just treating her like trash, isolating her, ostracizing her. The other kids had already established their friend groups. So she spent the better half of the second semester, 6 months alone, eating lunch alone, just being alone. I didn't realize how much of a toll it took on her mental health until this incident happened. And then we're talking to therapists and counselors at every hospital visit and stay. And we were at the hospital where she had extended stays for about 5 or 6 times over the course of about 2 months. I didn't realize the toll that being alone and being mistreated by Black students for not being Black enough, and being mistreated by white students for being Black. We put her in this program because it's one of the best programs in the country, or I don't know about the country, child. In our city, okay, in our county. And we want her to have opportunities to be set up for success. That's what we're supposed to do as her parents. But here I am, a few days away from school starting. Baby girl's back in a wheelchair, and she's determined to not use a wheelchair. She doesn't want to stand out. She doesn't want to be abnormal. She doesn't want to be picked on. She doesn't want to be ostracized and isolated again. And so I'm juggling, my husband and I are juggling, do we pull her out of this program and put her in a virtual school where she may or may not get a quality education? She doesn't learn virtually. We learned that through the pandemic. Or do we keep her in this program and risk the condition getting worse? I don't know. But I do know that this has brought up for me the connection between education and mental health, and how in our my husband and I, in our desire of trying to give them a quality education in private schools, keeping them out of public schools, trying to keep them from having to be overwhelmed by all of these tests, and I put her in a program that's a public charter school, but tests are still a part of it, and the stress that she's experienced and how that has done a number on her physical health, and not knowing that if we pull her out of this program, how she'll fare in another program, and then lose her seat in this program, how that impacts her future. And these are questions that I'm sure I'm not the only person who has to navigate, but we're navigating it. I wish that there was a utopia where every school had the resources, it was safe, that had the curriculum, that had the highly experienced, motivated, excited teachers, and that was preparing kids for the jobs of the future, or to create the jobs of the future as entrepreneurs. I wish that every school in every county, in every ward, in every zip code within the US of A offer that to every student, that no matter where you went, education is priority and top-notch. And that parents could trust and be confident that when they send their kids to school, they're going to be okay. Unfortunately, that's not the case. A few years ago, I recognized this when I saw my baby struggling with mental health because she was being picked on because of her race in a predominantly white space. And so I tried to homeschool her while working a full-time job. I thought I could pull it off because I was working 100% remote, and quickly realized that homeschooling her and her younger sister was more than I had the capacity to do. I didn't have the capacity to do it, and I felt like a failure because I didn't want to entrust my children's education in the hands of someone else. And I understood the weight, the mental weight that these academic environments were, the toll that it was taking on my kids, and understanding the long-term implications of that. So what do? I'm curious in the comment section if you've experienced anything, any of the things that I've mentioned. What are you doing? There's some things that I know really, really well, and there's some things that I am still figuring out, like we all are. So let's learn from each other. What have you done to help your child when they've struggled with mental health in school because of things that have happened in school? If you pulled them out and homeschooled them, how were you able to do that and juggle a job? Or were you the stay-at-home parent now and your spouse or your significant other was out earning the bacon? If you have a child who's dealing with FND, how have you navigated this disorder and their education and their overall quality of life as a teenager, wanting to have that high school experience, but also physically not feeling able to do the things that they used to do? What are some treatments that you found that works for your child? If you figure out something that's homeopathic, please share in the comment section. I would love to learn what we could be doing that doesn't require a pharmaceutical prescription with all of its side effects, that could help my baby as she's recovering from this disorder. Thank you for sitting through this. Wasn't my traditional video. I don't have any solutions right now, but I'm sharing in full transparency as a mom who adores her baby and wants her to be as successful as possible in life, and trying to figure out prayerfully the best way to do that, especially considering all of the challenges that she is so courageously facing in this season of her life. God bless y'all. If this video resonated with you, please hit that like button. If you're interested in more content from me about education, navigating the education system, engaging parents, restructuring your school in a way that is conducive for every student to learn, or you're just a community member that loves young people and want to help set them up for success, you need some tips and resources, then this is the channel for you. Hit that subscribe button so that you are alerted every time I update or upload a new video. All right, peace and blessings, and thank you for watching.